The field is set in Madison. Can youth and skill take down age and experience? We take a closer look at the rookies looking to make an impact at the CrossFit Games next on Game Central. Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of Game Central presented by Airrosti, the official rapid recovery provider of CrossFit. Now that the last chance qualifier is done, we know the 40 men and 40 women who will be competing at the 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games in Madison, Wisconsin. So let's take a look at how things break down with the men and the women as far as veterans versus rookies. There are more rookies on the women's side, 15 women making their first appearance at the CrossFit Games this year, as opposed to 9 men, and the combined total for both the men and the women together, 56 veterans with 24 rookies. That's 70% to 30%. And here are some of the notable first-year athletes that we will be paying attention to at the CrossFit Games. On the women's side, Alexis, Raptis, Emma Lawson, and Elena Karatala Sanahuya. And then on the men's side, Tudor Magda, Dallin Pepper, and Nasir Arouwaya, who was the first Kuwaiti man to qualify for the CrossFit Games in this current season format. But Alexis Raptis is making her first appearance at the CrossFit Games since she competed as a teenager in 2015 and in 2016. She was second overall in 2016. Raptis took second place overall at the Syndicate Crown to earn her first trip as an individual to the CrossFit Games. She only had one finish that was lower than 5th in that competition. Dallin Pepper is also a former teenage competitor who is making his first appearance at the CrossFit Games as an individual. Pepper stood on top of the podium all 3 years he competed as a teenager at the Games. His last championship coming in 2019 in the 16 to 17-year-old division. Pepper was second overall at the Mid-Atlantic CrossFit Challenge. Every one of his finishes at that semifinal were inside the top 7, and he was never out of a qualifying spot over the entire 6 events. Adam Neiffer has already helped lead Justin Medeiros to a CrossFit Games championship, and now he is hoping to do the same thing for 16-year-old Trista Smith. Smith is making her second teenage appearance at the CrossFit Games this year. Last year, she was 4th place in the 14 to 15-year-old division. This year, she will be competing in the 16 to 17-year-old division. And Smith is expected to find herself in a battle with Olivia Kerstetter for the top spot in the 16 to 17-year-old division in Madison. Both of them are making their first appearances in that division after competing as 15-year-olds last year. Smith is the third athlete now to join Adam Neiffer, along with Justin Medeiros and Ellie Turner. Now that we know the 40 men, 40 women, and 38 teams who will be competing at the 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games, Tommy Marquez has some questions, and he's looking for some answers. Tommy?
Thanks, Sean. Now that our focus is pointed towards the games, I think there are some major questions that the community, they want answers to, and here are my top 3 in each division. Starting with the teams, question 1, can Reykjavik put pressure on Mayhem Freedom? It's been the major team storyline all season. Reykjavik beat Mayhem in the 2 common semifinal tests, but we all know it's a lot different trying to beat Mayhem when you're standing next to them, and so far only one team has succeeded way back in 2017. Number 2 question, perhaps a fitting placement for it as well, is CrossFit Oslo still number 2? Last year's runner-ups matched Mayhem and Reykjavik in having a perfect semifinal run. They've beefed up their squad with the addition of Nikolai Biladel, so despite the Reykjavik hype, are they still the best that Europe has to offer? Question 3, the final one for the teams, is a little bit more open-ended. Who else will rise to the occasion and make an impact in Madison? There's some clear Affiliate Cup frontrunners that we've already discussed, but who else steps up and hits a home run in Madison? There's 3 strong teams from Oceania. CrossFit Invictus is looking good again, and there's also Mayhem Independence in the mix. Will any of them factor into the podium discussion when all is said and done? Switching over to the men's division now, and question 1 is a no-brainer. Can anyone stop Justin Medeiros? Medeiros' ascent has been fast and fierce, and he's only getting better. But it still feels like the likes of Vellner, Fikowski, BKG, Saxon Panchik, and more have a window of opportunity to dethrone him, but can they do it before that window closes? Which brings me to my second question. What impact will Roman Krennikov and Ricky Garrard have in Madison? These are two athletes that weren't in the field last year, and I think everyone expects them to shake the tree a bit at the top of this year's games. They can win events, and that makes them dangerous when you factor in the overall leaderboard, but where will they ultimately end up? The third and final question for the men for me is, how will the youth movement fare in 2022? Last year, we had the emergence of athletes like Guy Mayeros and Lazar Jukic inside the top 10, but this season has seen a big step forward from young athletes like Dallin Pepper, Phil Toon, Tudor Magda, and Cole Grayshaber. And how do these rookies perform alongside the rising stars like Jukic and Mayeros to keep the momentum of the youth movement going? Last but certainly not least, the big questions on the women's side. And the first one is, who joins Tia-Clair Toomey on the podium? Since Toomey's reign began, no woman has been able to repeat on the podium in back-to-back years. The wake of Toomey's greatness has created waters that are tough to navigate, and with Annie Thorisdottir already out of the picture, can Horvath be the one to break that trend, and who else could join her? Question number 2 for the women's division. What does Mal O'Brien 2.0 look like at the games? Mal O'Brien's switch to train with HWPO and Matt Fraser has already given us hints of what's coming, given so far this season she's already won the Open worldwide, she's won quarterfinals in North America, and she dominated the Granite Games. Does the 2021 Rookie of the Year take the next step to the podium? We will have to wait and see. Our third and final question on the women's side touches on a historical trend, and it's which rookie makes the biggest splash this year. 10 out of the last 11 years on the women's side, we've had an individual rookie at the games break into the top 10. Last year, Mal was the torchbearer for the stat, and past rookies include Haley Adams, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey. But who can and will carry it forward this year? Those are my big 3 questions in each division, Sean, and I think I speak for everyone as fans of the sport that I can't wait to find out the answers in Madison.
Thank you, Tommy, and thanks to our sponsor, Airrosti. If you want to fix your pain fast, you can do it with Airrosti Remote Recovery. It is now 50% off for the entire CrossFit community. You can go to airrosti.com/CrossFit-recovery. Episode 5 of Miles to Madison airs July 7th on the CrossFit Games YouTube channel. It features the Deca Comp crew and the Brute Strength crew going after quarterfinals. And Fittest on Earth Next Gen is available now for purchase on iTunes. You can see it in 39 different countries. It is the 2021 NOBULL CrossFit Games documentary. Check it out. It is really, really good. That is going to do it for today's edition of Game Central. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland, and we'll talk to you next time.